Here at Randall Reilly, we work with fleets every single day. And that means we have a lot of experience and insight into what works well and what doesn't. It also means that people are always asking us questions like, what can we do to improve our lead to hire ratio? And how can we get more out of the leads we already have? You know, things like that. Welcome everyone. For Randall Reilly, I'm Joshua Miller. This is my layer and you are watching the Recruiting Roundup. Now each month I'm back here talking to you about different driver recruiting topics. And we've already covered some great stuff on the Roundup, like the recruiting phone call and how to avoid getting ghosted. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. If you like our videos but you're not subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and the bell so you know exactly when we post and you never miss out on a new Recruiting Roundup. And all our other videos too. Go ahead and like and share while you're at it too. Now back to those questions fleets are always asking us. The one thing that is certain is that no matter what, unless you just like wasting money, you have to do everything you can to make sure you're not only generating leads, but that those leads are quality leads that will result in hires for your fleet. But how do you do that, you might ask? I'm so glad you did ask that because I have an idea or two. Actually, 5. Ready? Here we go. Number 1, know who you are. If you're not honest with yourself about who you are, then how can you ever expect your recruiters to have an open and honest conversation with prospective drivers? You need to take a good look at what makes your fleet tick. What is it that you have to offer that drivers find attractive? When you figure out what that thing is, no matter what it is, that's what you should focus on. And it doesn't matter if it happens to be the hot industry talking point or not. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, just because all your competitors are hammering home time and how good theirs is, that does not mean that's what you should be talking about, even if it's working for them. Now, don't get me wrong, if you do offer good home time and drivers consistently give your fleet high marks in that area, then yeah, obviously highlight that. What I'm speaking to here though is that you shouldn't just throw something out because it's what everyone else is saying or what you think the drivers want to hear. If you do, it may get you leads, may even get you hires. Some of those drivers may even stick around, but in general, as my good buddy Seth would say, you just hired your own turnover. You can't focus on something you don't excel at and then be upset or surprised if prospective or current drivers are less than enthusiastic when they learn the truth. So take a moment, look in the mirror. Who are you? What do you do well? What is it that drivers really like about what you have to offer? Start there. Whether it's home time, company culture, unique programs, equipment you run, doesn't matter. Whatever that thing is, highlight it in your messaging and be honest with drivers about who you are and what they can expect from the start. Number 2. Engaging with drivers up to orientation. Now, getting a driver to complete an application, well, that's great. Getting a qualified driver scheduled for orientation, that's even better. But your recruiters have to stay engaged with drivers all the way through the process. And I'm not just talking about getting that app filled out, not just getting them scheduled for orientation, but making sure they're engaged and committed all the way through attending the orientation. Drivers right now have a lot of options, so your team has to stay on top of it to make sure you don't end up losing a prospect to another carrier because they failed to continue following up in regular intervals. Make sure they're all squared away with their travel, accommodations, all that kind of stuff. Answer any last-minute questions and address any concerns they may have. You're not the only fleet looking for drivers, and you're probably not the only fleet that has been in contact with that driver. Do you think other recruiters and fleets are going to stop pursuing a quality driver just because you scheduled them for orientation? Would you? Make sure your recruiters stay in touch with the drivers and are there for them every step of the way, right up to the orientation. If you're watching this, you've had drivers commit to attending only to ghost on your orientation. Everyone has. And while there's nothing I can tell you that will 100% eliminate that problem, this simple act, having consistent and regular follow-up with prospective drivers up through the orientation process, well, that's a great way to reduce those no-shows and thereby increase the hires from your worked leads. Number 3, weed out disqualified drivers and prioritize the right drivers. I know you're looking for drivers and you want hires, but be honest. Do you want any old driver? No, you want dependable, reliable, quality drivers, right? Which is why you and your team must do all you can to prioritize quality prospects. Some of this starts right from the beginning. The idea is to make sure that your recruiters are only spending time on quality leads to begin with. You can use qualifying or knockout questions to help weeding out drivers who aren't a good fit for your fleet. And again, every fleet is different and has different things they may be looking for. So it's not even necessarily that a driver is bad per se, but it could be that a good driver just doesn't tick every box you're after. Experience, home time requirements, driving records, certifications, all of these can be used to help whittle down the leads that make it through the funnel and reach your recruiters. So, what is it that you're looking for? Or maybe a better way to put it would be, what is it that you as a fleet value most in your drivers? Is it overall driving record? maybe years of experience? The ultimate goal is to get the most value out of your leads. So, you've already limited the number of leads being worked by using those qualifying questions. The next step is to focus on those drivers who not only meet your criteria, but have the trait or characteristic that you value most. Implementing some sort of lead scoring system here would be a great way to assign value to prospects and give your team the edge on knowing exactly which drivers would translate to valuable hires. Number 4, inform, don't overwhelm. Now this is a biggie. All too often recruiters get a driver on the line and they just rattle off, boom, 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 ton of information all at once. It's great they know the info, and yes, you do want to make sure the prospective driver understands what your fleet has to offer and is never caught off guard or surprised by anything, but just dumping huge quantities of information on them right off the bat, well, that's a great way to overwhelm them and end up missing out on that hire. Try to focus on what brought the driver to you in the first place. Maybe start by asking, what about our ad was attractive to you? Or what made you want to call in the first place? From there, the recruiter can move on and build the conversation around how the driver answers that and give them all the information they need, while also avoiding overwhelming them. And remember, if you maintain contact and engagement like we already talked about, you can continue to build that relationship, and by the time you get to orientation, the driver will know everything they need to know. Number 5, learn from your non-hires. Not all leads you generate will result in a hire. That's to be expected. But what can you learn from those non-hires? Because let's face it, leads ain't cheap. Instead of just taking it on the chin, shrugging and saying, oh well, let's put those non-hires to use. This is where harnessing the power of your ATS can come into play. The various disqualification codes within that ATS can help you drill down and identify patterns and common traits shared by the leads you were able to generate, but not hire. Taking a look at the different groupings can help you paint a picture and allow you to know where you need to focus. For instance, if you're seeing a high volume of out-of-area DQ codes pop up, probably a good idea to take a second look at your geo-targeting parameters. Same goes for any other DQ codes. If you have leads being disqualified because they don't meet all of your certification requirements, maybe take a look at your ad and your landing page copy to make sure all requirements are prominently featured to help cut down on the unqualified drivers from moving forward in the process. Looking at these DQ code groupings can also help you when it comes to lead source. Perhaps a particular channel is consistently providing leads that, for whatever the reason, just aren't up to snuff. Knowing that can help you better allocate your budget to more effective channels. Remember, just because you're unable to hire a lead doesn't mean you can't learn from it. Simply taking the time and digging into why leads ended up not being hired can help you adjust, improve, and actually get some value out of all of your leads, even the ones you don't hire. And that does it. Those are my 5 things you need to do to hire the drivers you're after and get the most out of your leads. So try it out, give it a whirl, see what happens. If you want to talk to somebody on our team about it, you can do so by clicking our contact link down below. As for me, I'll be back with another recruiting roundup next month covering another driver recruiting topic. We'll see you then, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. We really hope that it's been useful to you, and we hope you come back for more. If you're not already a subscriber, you can do so by clicking that little thing right there so you never miss out on our content. And if you'd like to watch another video, how about this one right here, just for you?